We got a debate in the YouTube chat about Oregon's home schedule this year, which it's not what it has been. Like Ohio State, when you have a game like that, and then the Huskies trying to end that losing streak last year, like those were immediately big games that you circled. And Ohio State ended up being one of the biggest games in the history of the program. It's not a great home slate this year, although I will say there are under the radar games a little bit.
Oklahoma State could be fun.
Like Mike Gundy coming to town. There's fun coach storylines coming to town. Like Mike Gundy coming in week 2. I have no clue what Oklahoma State's going to be this year. Total question mark for me. Maybe they push him. Maybe they don't. Maybe Oregon kills them. I don't know. But it's Gundy
coming if Indiana is off to a hot start again.
Yes, if they're ranked somehow in that game.
They're ranked, and we have Google me, bitch stuff going on.
and that's after the Penn State game, too. So mind you, what if Oregon wins that game and then you're hosting Indiana? That might take on massive significance.
Yeah, let's see who Indiana has.
Yeah, see what their schedule lines up. Because I know Oregon goes Penn State, then they have a bye.
So they got the 3 gimmies to start.
Yes.
They get Illinois at home, and Illinois is highly thought of.
Yes, they are.
Then they're at Iowa.
So they could either
if they're 5-0 and they've
yeah.
taken down Illinois and Iowa,
they're already ranked to begin with. And if you win those 2 games,
you're looking at more. Here comes Saturday night on NBC right there. Could be back to
Saturday
back.
Night, and then you get USC at the end of the year with a chance. Anytime you have an opportunity to stuff Lincoln Riley into a locker, I get excited about that.
Yep.
And so that's a fun one nearing the end of the season. 2 old Pac-12 foes to end their year in USC and Washington. So no, there's not like a Penn State, Ohio State. There's not that marquee game, if you will, this year.
Friday night with PJ Fleck and rolling the boat.
It's an underrated home schedule. Now, they probably asked for a price increase on your ticket. So for that, from Ohio State to this, you might be going, but that's just the world we live in. I'll tell you what, man, I don't know if it's, part of it's the danger of like, we do this every year with the Hard Knocks team. I don't know if you're this way when in years you watch Hard Knocks. I've seen 2 of the episodes, but not all of them. When you get the preseason documentary, it almost always ups your anticipation level and expectations for the team, just because the documentaries make them look so good and they're making plays and the vibes seem great and all that. Oregon's documentary is doing that to me in a shocking development because they came out with their latest episode yesterday. It was a great behind-the-scenes look at the training staff. Trey McNutt, the freshman who broke his leg, they go through his rehab process, and he's interviewed in it. Some of the guys in their backstories about things they've had to overcome in their lives. And, one of their corners talked about growing up homeless and living out of hotels until he was 5. And so all of these struggles in training camp, he's like, this is great. It's a blessing because I'm not homeless anymore. So there's great backstories there. I continue to be very excited about how this stuff will shape out in the weeks to come because there's so many unknowns in terms of the inexperienced players and who will play at a high level for you. But there seems to be a belief from that coaching staff, from everything that they've said in the last handful of weeks, that the number of guys they're going to rotate is going to be very interesting. Like I think they look at the cornerback position, for example, and feel like they got 6 or 7 guys that they can play regularly and be above the line players. And so you can switch it up depending on matchups and who you're playing. Is it a bigger body receiver? You got to make sure your big corners are in there. Is it more of a zone defensive team or a team you want to play zone against? Maybe you change up your corners. Maybe your young freshman corners who are having nice camps aren't quite ready in week 1. But by the time you get to week 7 or week 8, guys like Naeem Offord and Brandon Finney are going to be ready to go. So I just think the versatility and the number of players that they can play, it has never been more important in the sport of college football to have competitive depth. The season has never been longer. If you go to a conference championship game, that's 13 plus 3 or 4 more playoff games, depending on where your seeding is going to be. Like, you have to be built for a gauntlet, and guys are going to get hurt. And that, to me, is one of the most exciting things. While a lot of their roster is unknown and a question mark about how they'll play, they feel like they have a lot of guys that are above the line players, and now it's got to pan out. We'll find out starting next week against Montana State and see where they go. But defensively, a lot is going to get made of the offense, and Dante Moore being a new starting quarterback and wide receiver position. There's no Evan Stewart. Can Decorian Moore be a number 1? I am so excited to see this defense, man. Elijah Rushing, to me, is going to be a household name halfway through the year. Amari Washington's going to be a household name halfway through the year. They have been spending 2 to 3 years building this thing out a certain way, and now all of this is ready to kind of explode.
And if you go back in your Ducks history, every single time the Ducks have had a special team, it's been because they've had a dominant defense.
Yes.
Back to the Gang Green days and whatever. The offense always seems to find a way. You can't And in today's college football, you can't go make a run at a college football playoff or those sorts of things unless your offense is efficient to a certain degree. Now, how you go about do it, if you're more run prevalent or, however you do it, changes based on your personnel. But you ultimately put points up on the board. But every year Oregon has had a special team. It's been because the defense was dominant.
I mean, you go back to that 2014 team, everybody talks about Mariota winning a Heisman Trophy, which he was unbelievable. And then you had DeForest Buckner and Eric Armstead on the defensive line, and that had a little something to do with them making it to the national championship game that year. So I think it's a totally valid point. I don't know, man, a lot of excitement. There's not quite the same expectations going into the year as maybe there was last year nationally from some people. The conversation was, is this the most talented team? I just think getting to a point now where you're almost legitimately asking that question every single year is one of the most exciting parts of, man, you lost so much to the NFL. You set a program record for draft picks. There's one starter returning on offense. And now we're asking the question, is this the most talented team? Like, I will just say this from a size perspective. I've been on the sideline of Oregon games since 2009-ish. Now, not every game, not every year, but roughly in that era, right? Like right when things took off for Chip, I was a student down there. Last year was the first year it kind of dawned on me walking around pregame of like, oh my God, they've never been this big. Now, size doesn't always translate. Some big guys are softies and they can't play, and maybe they're out of shape, whatever. But just from an overall physical, just being physically impressive and intimidating. Like I remember walking the sideline of the Georgia-Oregon game the first year Lanning took over and thinking, hey, maybe they cover, maybe they hang. And I've told this story a million times on the air, but I walk around the sidelines of Mercedes-Benz Stadium and you go over to the Georgia sideline and you immediately know, like, oh, God, this is not going to go well. There's a massive advantage one way. Oregon's trending in that direction now. When you see them, their defensive line and the prospects, and now the offensive line to match it with some of these behemoths they have up front. Never been bigger, man. Exciting. Kicks off next week right here on The Fan against Montana State. They're number 6 in the preseason dirty poll. Let's do some gambling. You ready? You got your picks ready to go? All right, who are we gambling on? Week 0 picks, Sprague in the line, final preseason edition for us. We got Sprague's picks, we'll remind you. We'll read your fake sponsors. That is next. But first, here's us with a update.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
Brought to you by Mountaintop Metal Roofing. No maintenance, energy efficient, fire resistant, and that lifetime warranty. Do it once, do it right. Visit mountaintopmetalroofing.com. First on the Fan, an actual note. Adam Schefter reporting the Commanders are sending running back Brian Robinson to the 49ers in exchange for a 6th-round pick. The LPGA Tour is up north of the border for the CPKC Women's Open. Akaye Iwai, who won at Portland last week, your current leader at 8 under par. All eyes, though, on the 15-year-old amateur Aphrodite Dang, who became the first Canadian to win the U.S. Girls Junior Championship in the mix, 5 under par, and is at 15 is the 22nd ranked women's amateur player in the world.
It's a hell of a name, too, to go with it. I thought this was interesting yesterday. We know that they dominate Sunday Night Football because NBC has for a while. They've now entered into a new agreement with the NBA, and as soon as Sunday Night Football is over, they're going to start Sunday Night Basketball.
Yes.
And the report now is that NBC and MLB might be nearing a deal worth $200 million per season for Sunday Night Baseball to go to NBC, which means NBC would own Sunday night sports programming 12 months of the year, which I think is a brilliant play of all these different sports. Come here Sunday night, you know you're going to get a primetime game.
They can't beat 60 minutes with normal programming, so let's get some sports.
What can handle it? Maybe sports can.
There you go. More LPGA and TV sports programming stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigart from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Your home for